basically what happened was that my dad, he worked as sort of like in this company that does reforestation, plantation sort of thing. So like, after they cut all the kayu balaks and whatnot, they will like plant it. So he was always away, and I missed him, as like a kid. And by the time he came back, it was school holidays. I think it was during November 2000s. It was just a random thought, right? And I thought, hey, maybe the next time you go back, because he normally goes back for about 2 months or so, and then he comes back to Kuching, which is my hometown.
Right.
I suggested, can I follow you? Just because I wanted to spend time with him, and it's school holidays anyway. So he was like, what are you going to do there? Because where he stays is actually in a logging camp, right? An area where they would stay deep in the jungle. So it's like, there are no kids there. There's no form of entertainment. Like, what are you going to do? I'm like, well, I'll figure it out myself, He finally agreed, got my mom's approval. And I remember just being so excited about it because I could stay with my dad. And I was thinking, I'll be in the jungle, we'll go hunting, all that kind of like boy stuff, right? And when we were in Bintulu, my dad's company sent a pickup truck, sort of like for us to drive to the camp, right? So we load up everything, and this is like a single cabin Hilux, right? With the back exposed. So technically everything we load up, you could see. So my dad decided to make a stop just to get groceries, and I remember we had this sort of like a sundry shop, and I was waiting in the car. Car was like, obviously running. Car was unlocked. I was in the car listening to my new Linkin Park tape, and there was a Walkman, right? And
was it a cassette or a CD?
Yeah, it was a cassette. It was a cassette.
Oh my
with, like,
gosh.
Those, pamphlet that you open up until it starts tearing at the edges.
Yeah, looking at lyrics and all.
And I was waiting for like, I don't know, it felt like a long time. And I suddenly heard this sort of like thud on the back of the lorry, right? And it caught my attention. So as I look up at the rear view mirror, I actually saw somebody passing by. And, in that split second, I thought like, maybe somebody just walked past or something, accidentally knocking it. But that was when I sort of had this voice, I guess. Maybe it's my own voice. Maybe it was God, right? But I guess it was God. And this voice basically said, Philip, something bad's going to happen. Lock the door now.
Oh.
Right? And you're 10 years old and you're like, come on, what's gonna happen, right? And I was like listening to Linkin Park and like and you
didn't hear that divine intervention.
And then it happened again, and it says, Philip, lock the door now, something bad's gonna happen. And I'm like, nah, what's gonna happen, and it said it for the third time, and I still ignored it, right? And then literally like for a few good minutes nothing happened, and that was my justification, like see, nothing's happening, right? And at that moment when I sort of gave into that, the driver's door opened, a stranger hopped in, somebody like I really don't know, clueless who this person was. And when he entered, I remember this clearly because it was as if he never made eye contact, as if I wasn't in the car, right?
Right.
He get in, he went to reverse and he just starts driving away.
Right.
And I think at this point I decided, okay, maybe then my next option is to jump out of the car. So imagine this on a highway, this like truck on the road, and I flung open the door. I was literally about to jump out of the car until I realized that I was next to a monsoon drain. And then you can see those beams and how like, if you're moving really fast, it sort of has this sort of like effect. And I realized I was imagining myself breaking my bones, hurting myself real bad. I got cold feet, so I hung out of the moving car, and I was desperately screaming to the people behind me, like all the other cars, screaming for in every language I could think of, right? Like, help me, tolong saya, pang wo, anything I could think of, just to I don't know, somehow to get this car to stop, right? But obviously, there was a car behind me. I remember he was just looking at me like I mean, I don't know how would they, exactly, like maybe they thought I was just a naughty kid, but I was like really crying, like like please help me, and they're like, what's going on, and the guy pulled me back in, whacked me again, and beat me, and that was when I was like, okay, you know what, that's probably it, like I didn't know what else to do, right? So I was just in tears, I was crying, I was like praying and whatnot, and I really don't know how long this whole ordeal was. It felt long, obviously, but after a while, I remember we weren't seeing any, like, we're out of the city, right? So it's a bit more outskirt. You kind of see like all the trees and like kelapa sawits and all, and at that point he finally pulled over to this clearing, And I remember he this is the only thing he said, keluar. I saw this kid, maybe about my age, fishing in the middle of the monsoon drain. And it was weird because in hindsight, I realized that there wasn't any housing or whatever. I don't know, maybe it was an angel or whatever. But what was strange, because I remember I asked the kid, I said, hey, do you know where the police station was? Like, where should I go? You know, where's the city and all that? And all he did was, you know, he just shrugged and he just pointed the same direction where this tree construction worker was pointing at. You know, maybe he didn't understand me. And so I continued walking. I saw this commercial area towards my right that was coming up, shop lots and whatnot. And I felt the need to, like, okay, maybe I'll just, you know, turn in here. And as I turned into that whole commercial shop lot area, from afar I saw this big group of people just gathering, right? And I really had like a Forrest Gump moment where you see the legs started running and all that. I don't know why, I just felt like I needed to run. I just needed comfort and I just needed somebody to help me. And as I saw this, as I approached this crowd, I pushed everybody, and literally like a movie drama, I split the last person. My dad was standing right in the center.
Wow.